Yeah, I got voices in my head again, tread carefully, and I don't medicate, it helps me temporarily. I got problems, I got issues, yeah, apparently. Trauma that I'm burying, I think I need some therapy. I battle depression, I'm back with a message. I'm asking the question that if you hate me, why you acting obsessive? I'm past the point of no return, by being passive aggressive. I'll brandish a weapon, teach all you motherfuckers a lesson.
Is full of clowns, they're all stupid and they're proud, painted smiles on their mouths. I don't hang with bozos, homie, I can't be around.
Hello everybody, Drew here for Drew at Underground and Breaking Rocks 53, I believe this is. Yes, it is. Welcome to the Underground, everyone. I am the one and the only Drew Dat Underground, or Drew Dat if you prefer. Joining me today, let me bring him on, my younger brother, Desert Nord. I pointed the wrong way. Hey, bro.
Hey there, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm choosing to be on camera today because of the shirt that I'm wearing, and I got a new background back here. It says, Drew Dat loves the Chicago Cubs. But you can't see the Cubs part. And in fact, when I look at it, the TV covers the CU part of Cubs, and all you see is Drew loves the Chicago BS, which is not true. Which is not true. But with that in mind, yeah, I wanted to start with the opening to Watch the World Burn by Falling in Reverse because, as I see it, I have never battled depression, but I'm still back with a message with pointed the wrong way again with Desert Nord. We're back with a message again, bro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's that time of the, before I get to anything, before I forget what I'm saying, again, I hope everyone had a happy, not so much Easter as Happy Resurrection Sunday last weekend, bro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or as the Joe Biden White House would say, Happy Trans Visibility Day. Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that was pretty special.
You anti-Christian piece of shit. But with all that said, there is one more thing I want to show you guys. I did start playing Stellar Blade demo on Drew Dat Games, which is the other channel, which I did also announce that any future gaming discussion content will be done here on Breaking Rocks on this channel going forward, because it's getting harder to do two podcasts on two different channels working as much as I do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So when I tried to end the stream, I accidentally hit the wrong button. I accidentally made a recording, so I decided to turn that into a clip. So if we get any lovely ladies in our chat, this will play for you when you show up. Yeah, so we got that for the lovely ladies that, or anyone lovely that shows up in the chat going forward. So with that in mind, there's a lot to start with here. So we might as well start with the first thing that I don't have to share because it's not on a tab, but Future Game Show happened a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we were going to do something about it, but Easter was that weekend, so we weren't going to be able to do like a reaction like we did with what was it, Sony State of Play or something like that before?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but the only thing we're talking about, as it turns out, Sweet Baby Inc. might be involved with. And that's Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga. We got a release date. It's May 21st of this year. So a little over a month out, a month and maybe about 2 weeks, give or take, right?
Yeah. So the point you were making there is that despite the fact that we didn't really cover it, we didn't really miss much either.
Yeah,
Um,
the only thing worth talking about was Hellblade 2 because we got a release date and it's going to be on Xbox and PC, which we already knew.
And honestly, if I have to say it, them being involved with Senua's, series or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah,
is the
Hellblade,
least surprising thing ever because the Senua's Sacrifice game was like a major feminist game to begin with. So to have them be involved is actually not even surprising at all. So
yeah. But yeah, so suffice to say, I have no interest now in Hellblade. But then again, Sweet Baby is heavily involved with Xbox Game Studios anyway, so it is what it is.
yeah, no, we really, it's actually kind of challenging to find games that don't have some sort of out-group influence.
Yeah,
And what I mean by out-group is I mean the DEI people, the
yeah,
the ones trying to shift the gaming industry's culture, quote unquote, towards whatever their political point of view is.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Make every IP that was quote unquote toxic as far as they're concerned, change it, destroy it, eliminate it, do whatever you need to do to change it, and that's what they're out to do.
In other words, make it actually toxic.
No, I know. And then again, the shocking part to these people somehow is that none of us like that. Well, why would you think we would like that? That's only what you guys want, and you're not even gamers. So, like, these companies developing games are now basically beholden to and producing games for people who don't even play games.
Yeah,
And they're acting shocked when their games don't get good reviews or get sold more. Like, this, you decided to cop to these people because you thought it was the future or something, and now you're suffering consequences. And frankly, I don't feel sorry for any of them.
yeah. Well, as I said to Ma earlier, the free market will decide all of this in due
Sure,
time.
thankfully. I mean, for the most part. Unless, of course, the federal government is involved, which you never know. They kind of are, aren't they?
Speaking of government mandates, PAX East 2024 had people wearing masks.
Yeah.
So
that was interesting to
that's
see.
a thing.
Yeah, no, even despite the fact that, almost every single one of those people is vaccinated, right? So, first of all, what are they worried about? If they really believe in their vaccine, they should be fine.
Yeah,
Second of all,
but given what we know and what reports have been coming out, they're probably not going to be fine since they got vaccinated.
no, I know. That's how we feel about it. But the other thing though is that the federal government,
that's been the numbers lately. So
yeah, the federal government though has
yeah.
already given up on any COVID precautions with the CDC and with the NIH. So they've given up and they've already conceded that they're treating it like any other flu virus now. So I mean, there's no pandemic to be had. I don't know why anybody, aside from having a phobia or some sort of mental disorder, I don't see why anybody should be masking up at this point. I mean, unless they're sick themselves, in which case, why the hell are they attending?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's all. I'm surprised anybody's still doing that in 2024, though.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised. I just think it's silly.
Otherwise, the next thing I got, if you're ready to move on from that, because
sure, yeah. Now that was an interesting story, but it's also sad. So
yeah. What's also sad is Dragon's Dogma 2 microtransactions. Shut up, PC gamer. But
yeah,
what's
them
up?
deciding to charge you $70 for the game and then also charge you after you bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
they'll never learn.
It's $70 and there's microtransactions. And if you bought the deluxe edition like I did, it's more like $100 plus microtransactions. But I'm not going to pay for the microtransaction bullshit, so it's only $100 for me for the other bits and pieces for it. But Dragon's Dogma 2, microtransactions are real and bafflingly silly, since nearly all of them can be found in-game without too much trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So, like, basically, the microtransactions are indeed for the completely hopelessly untalented or lazy who happen to buy the game.
Yeah.
Which I guess is every game journal, isn't it?
And here's the list from Steam for all of the microtransactions. And I guess it's in pounds for some reason. So the Explorer's Camping Kit, which can be found or purchased within the confines of the game, is 2.49 pounds, it looks like. At least I think that's pounds, right?
Yeah, and you know, bro, the one thing that I find the funniest thing about all that is that the game journals who can't be bothered to get good and learn how to play games or even care to are also not interested in actually buying the shit. So they need it to be given to them by the developer for free so that they can publish articles about things they don't even know that they're even why they're even talking about it.
Yeah, but
isn't it amazing the absolute state of game journalism at this point?
I don't call them journalists. I call them game activists.
Yeah, no, they are, of course, but
which that's what I've been calling them since like 2014, 16, somewhere in that time frame.
I mean, we might as well have people that are like, I don't know, literal clowns from the circus writing game journal articles.
Well, as our opening says, which is from the song from Tom McDonald Clone World. So thank you, Tom, for that. And once again, thank you for making the intro for this.
Yeah.
For Breaking Rocks. But with that in mind, the overall total from all of these here comes out to 36.6 pounds sterling.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the translation to US dollars is for that. Do you know?
Last check, I think it was $1.50 per pound, if I'm not mistaken. I could look. I could take a second and look here.
Yeah, that'd be helpful because we're not. I don't know why this is in pounds. We're in the United States.
It's $1.26 per pound. So multiply whatever the number is by 1.26, and you'll get the dollars.
So it's 36.60.
Yeah.
So how much would that be in dollars?
Well, let's see.
Yeah, here in the underground, we're doing math for you.
It'd be just shy of $50.
Yeah, so it'd be $50 US dollars for all of this.
Yeah.
And as you can see by the button there, this is obviously taken from Steam for this article.
But yeah, no, they want you to pay $70 just for imagine if you bought the digital version. You're not even actually owning the game. You're just paying for access to the game.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're going to have to cough up another 50 for the things listed there. Another, 46.
Yeah.
And that's assuming that it's the same price in the US as it is in the UK market. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't with developers.
And this is what I think of microtransactions in games.
Good job. Now he's going to roll him down the hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just roll him down the hill, get him out.
They don't. I mean, it's as if the market has a certain idea of what they want, and then the developers like, okay, well, we're gonna sort of kind of ignore what you want, but then we're also gonna ignore what would be prudent, because well, we're not gamers, we're not buying this shit, you are, so we're not gonna make this easy for you. We're gonna have you do what we say, and like it. And I know that the game developer people expect to be paid a large amount of money for their work, and whatever. At a certain point, that's reasonable if you have a successful game. But if your game is a bunch of DEI crap, and it's it's ridiculously abusive to the IP, and you didn't care about the gamer, and you're charging way too much for the base game, and you're doing microtransactions, that developer needs to go away. That type of thing
Yeah.
needs to end in the gaming industry because that is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's become though for AAA studios. That's pretty much the metric. That's what they all do. And then they wonder why they get negative reviews and people kind of meh, you know,
Yeah.
consider them overrated, and you know, they get disgruntled customer comments and bad reviews and stuff. And it's because people expect things, and they expect, you know, a basic standard of decency from the companies that they're paying money for a product from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very basic, but yet they still manage to fail.
Yep. So, with that in mind, I guess it's time to get to the most recent controversy in gaming right now, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Black Girl Gamers.
Yeah, no, the recent another Sweet Baby Inc. has come to light.
Yeah, as we were warning you guys about before, that the war's not over.
There are many.
Yeah, and here's the
there are
next
legion.
one that came to light. But the reason I stopped it down here is to show you who they work with. Adidas. I don't know what one this is. EA Sports, Netflix, Twitch, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, all the usual suspects, frankly.
Nat West, whoever that is. Google.
Yeah.
And we're live on YouTube.
Stop us if there's any surprises on this list.
PlayStation. Square Enix.
Yep, Squeenix, the old troublemaker.
Riot Games.
Riot Games, yes.
H&M.
Yeah, all the major, what you might call woke ass brands, all the ones.
Yeah.
Down
And
the
we're
line.
back to Adidas again. So yeah, that's who they work with. And what do? Well,
influence them to change the racial identity of the characters.
Well, they bully them. They bully them into working with them, and then force them to change a white character to a black character or some other round of bullshit.
Yeah, or female, or preferably as high on the intersectional feminist chart as they possibly can.
Now, if you look at this picture, I know Ryan Kindle would say, yeah, it's a bunch of women that I would never want to fuck.
The trouble is that they're not gamers.
No,
they don't care about games. They don't know shit about the IPs. They don't know shit about any of it. They're sticking their noses into an industry they have no business touching, and all they're doing is making games worse. That's all they're doing. They're not helping.
And also that their founder on podcasts has said that they don't hire white people specifically.
Sure, yeah, no, and they've basically admitted their organizational racism is.
And they had the nerve on Twitter to say that all of these accusations by whatever park that posted that article about them.
Yeah.
Park Place, that's it. That everything in that article was lies, that they don't do that. Meanwhile, they admitted to it, their founder, on podcasts that she's been on, and it even says it on their fucking website here, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's amazing that they thought they could deny that they do that when they already said proudly that they do.
Yeah. And then
I don't even know why they would even try to back away from that when that was their whole point.
And have fun actually winning court cases, suing people about all of this when...
No, I mean, it's not slander. They said it themselves. I mean, you can't sue someone for slander for saying something you said yourself.
Exactly.
Like, if you didn't want to be known as an organization that doesn't employ white people, then you don't say that if that's not what you want. But you did want that. You absolutely wanted everyone to know you don't employ white people.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely racist. But by all means, pretend you didn't say that. And don't do that when obviously you do, and that you did say that. It's really silly that they wanted to backtrack and pretend that they wanted to gaslight everybody into thinking there's something that we know they're not.
Yeah. But and that reminds me, there is also already now a page on Steam called Black Girl Gamers Detected as well. So there's that. That's been created all along the lines of Sweet Baby Ink Detected. So,
but no, I mean, here's my accusations. My accusation is that they're straight up federally funded. I wouldn't be surprised if they were straight up on federal payroll.
It's already been confirmed that that through Homeland Security that Sweet Baby Inc. is. So it's not a
Sweet
stretch.
Baby Inc. we already confirmed is federally funded.
So it's not a stretch to. No, actually, I take it back. I found out today that it was also confirmed through Side Scrollers and one of their guests that it's also confirmed that Homeland Security is also working with Black Girl Gamers as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
and so they're going to sit there and pretend to be victims.
Too.
They're going to sit there and pretend to be victims of some sort of smear. No, it's the reality. You know it. We know it. Everyone knows it. Your mask is off. Now you need to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Now you need to get the fuck gone from the industry, or you can just not have us at all touch any of your products, or anything you guys touch, we don't touch. That's how this works. Like you can just revise your whole thing, say you're sorry, admit you're wrong, cut ties with the federal government, and be reasonable and try to actually make the gaming industry better. You could do that, but you've already blown your whole gig. So if Black Girl Gamers really doesn't have a point at this, they might as well just wrap it all up and go home.
Yeah,
because their mask is off and they're exposed, and now we know. So I mean that'll happen over and over and over with all of these consultancy firms. It's going to happen with every single one of them, one at a time.
Speaking of whatever you're trying to hide being blown here, and no, I'm not talking about the Chicago Cubs here. IGN offers official apology after French branch insults Stellar Blade director for choosing to create attractive female protagonists.
Mm-hmm.
Ian, an immediately surprising admission of wrongdoing from an industry known for going out of their way to ever avoid doing so, IGN has offered an official company apology to Stellar Blade director and Shift Up CEO Hyung Tae Kim. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. If not, I apologize.
Yeah, Young Tae Kim.
Okay.
Yeah.
After their French branch chose to insult him over his decision to portray his game's protagonist Eve as a sexually attractive design.
Yeah, I know. The only part about this is actually surprising or even funny is that they apologized.
Well,
because usually they don't even apologize for this.
And I'm sure that we'll see in this article what was actually said, but they reworded it, and the rewording wasn't any better than the original wording of the insult.
Of course, because the meaning was still there, and the meaning is what the problem is here.
Yeah. As previously reported in his preview of the game for IGN France, outlet contributor Ben, I don't give a fuck what your name is, chose to dedicate a insignificant portion. Sorry, I had trouble saying that word of his word count to dismissing Kim's artistic vision as nothing more than a creepy fantasy of a sexless weirdo.
Yeah, no, they love to whip out the incel insult. As though
Okay.
any man who seeks anything attractive is either gay or
Okay.
not getting any.
Here's the actual quote. The design of the game, in particular, its character, highlights an obvious bias, wrote whatever his name.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to beat up the alien, but if we can do it while pleasuring the eyes of the men, that's a bonus. That's what this weirdo in France at IGN, I believe, said, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the result doesn't really work, he continued. It's not new, and other games have made the choice to highlight the assets of their female characters, but where Bayonetta bears an iconic character design, first of all, when Bayonetta first came out, people like this criticized the character design of that then. Now you're praising it? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's only because the studio and the people involved in that were woke to begin with.
And also, or 2B from Nier Automata, which they also criticized the design of then too.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're praising it here. Inspired an entire generation of cosplayers. Stellar Blade's Eve is just boring. A doll sexualized by someone who has never seen a woman. That was the original quote. They wound up changing this to by someone you would think has never seen a woman. When people showed photos of his wife, one of the lead artists of Stellar Blade, who is an attractive Asian woman in her own right, they had to change this to what I just said just a moment ago.
Yeah, so you would think, because they can't deny that he has, because he's married to one.
But that's still insulting him anyway.
No, I know. The other thing is, like, just because the character is attractive doesn't mean he has a psychological problem. See, the problem here is the article writer at IGN, who seems to think that every character needs to be a very, very unattractive, ugly, and otherwise intersectional female, otherwise, or even trans, and they'd probably fucking love that. Basically, a guy pretending he's a woman is what they'd like, because that's what they're seeking. That's all they care about. That is 100% of all they care about.
But also with other news surrounding Stellar Blade and IGN here, also someone else from IGN on Twitter had also said something to the effect of this game will lead to women getting unalived or killed.
Right, sure.
Huh?
Yeah, no, they're off in some sort of other frequency we're not understanding here.
That was the same equivalent to, I don't remember what game it was, but at the time of release, them saying that opening the game case will get trans people killed. And again, I have the same reaction to that then of, huh?
So the logical circle that they're going in, this is why it's stupid and doesn't make any fucking sense, all right? The logical circle they're going in leads them down a path of saying men shouldn't be in any way attracted to or in any way socialized with women. Okay, the problem with that is that they also simultaneously want men to have great, severe respect for those women that they do not socialize with and do not interact with and do not have any attraction to.
Yeah.
How do they think they're going to accomplish both those goals? I mean, because this is also the same crowd who witnesses a group of men in dresses and makeup beating up on actual women because they're not pro-trans, and they cheer for that shit. So, I mean, who's anti-woman here? The guy who wants to see a beautiful woman in his game, or the guy who doesn't? Because I'm pretty sure it's not the guy who does want to see a beautiful woman in his game.
Yeah.
All right? That's not the anti-woman person, all right? The anti-woman person is the guy who's offended by that. And he also may want to check himself for other psychological issues himself. But the point being here is that women are naturally however they are. Beautiful, maybe, depends. Attractive, maybe, it depends.
And
a man can be attracted to any woman. It's not about, we have to have an A+ standard or else. It's like that's not how this
And
works. And anyone who thinks it is the real incel here.
and I've also heard this said about the figure of the character Eve from Stellar Blade that it's not realistic. An Asian model was scanned for the body for the character, so how is that not a real woman?
But this is also the same crowd that doesn't have any problem with watching Thor get his ass, stripped naked and tied to a chain.
Yeah.
Like they're fine with that. That was cool. They loved that. But but Thor's physical body is definitely not a unhealthy standard that men are supposed to be keeping up with. Oh no, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine, but this isn't.
The point I would make though is that they have extremely unreasonable expectations for men physically. And they're fine with that. Men don't even really question that necessarily. I mean, we barely live up to them most times. Sometimes we don't live up to them. But they keep them. They keep them. And they're not asked to change. The women are not asked to start loving out of shape and ugly men. Nobody's asking the women to do that. But somehow men have to do that for women.
Yeah.
For some reason. I mean, the point I'm trying to make about the gaming industry here is that, look, the gaming industry should be providing whatever the gamers who buy the games want.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Like
if they want an attractive female character, then they should be receiving that.
Like I said, the market will dictate what happens.
And if somebody's going to come along and say, I don't like the attractive female character because I think all women in games should be unattractive, good. That's your opinion. Good for you. Then you don't buy that game. Okay? We'll enjoy it. You can fuck off and cry in a corner if you want, but we're going to enjoy the game. Okay?
Yeah.
And that works both ways. For the woke people who love woke games, you go have your woke games and we'll avoid them. And we'll see who wins in the market.
Yep.
Because I'm pretty sure that human beings who are male, naturally, who are not also gay, desire attractive women. And I'm pretty sure that's not going to change.
You know who doesn't like attractive women as well, bro?
People with mental issues and gays?
Well, yeah, but I was going a different direction.
Okay.
Xbox.
Oh, yeah, them too. Yeah, no. Well, that's where the gay part comes in.
Which is the main title of this stream. So we're finally getting to the last topic, and the last topic I have, and the main title. So for those that don't know what has been going on recently, one of the executives in charge of marketing over at Xbox has decided to post on Twitter at the time something to the effect of, raise your hand if you're a non-white, non-male gamer. Minorities struggle to make themselves known in this medium, or something along those lines, right? Bro?
Yeah, they with that one, they really kind of owned themselves on that one.
Yeah. And also the Xbox, more like the woke box with this one. But evidently, Xbox also has things in place for their developers that they don't want curvy female characters on their platform either. So Eve will never be going to Xbox and Stellar Blade. But
yes, and we know that this is all from that same bullshit influence we were talking about earlier. We know this is not organic.
Well, keep in mind that Sweet Baby Inc. and Black Girl Gamers work with Xbox Game Studios, so there's that.
Yep.
But you know who's against all of this too?
Yeah.
Guess, bro.
Well, you could just tell me.
Or you could look at the screen.
Yeah, no, Elon, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elon defends white guys after Xbox marketing manager claims minorities have to fight to prove they exist in gaming.
Here's the thing that everyone on that end of, and I mean that end, I mean on the Xbox end of this, does not understand. Okay, they don't seem to understand what the definition of the word minority is. Okay, What they want is the people they hire and themselves, as it turns out, they want a minority to be a majority in gaming. That's what they want. They will not settle until they have that. Okay.
Yeah.
They want a group that they know is a small percentage of the population, and therefore a small percentage of the consumer base. Okay.
Yeah.
To be overrepresented in their games. That's what they want. They won't settle for anything less than that. Okay.
Yeah.
Sitting there and saying that they're underrepresented is completely misunderstanding the definition of the word minority, and misunderstanding that if you are, like, say, African American in the United States, you represent 14% of the population at best. 13.7, 13.8, something like that. Okay. And so if you have 10 characters and you represent 13% of the population of those 10 characters, how many characters do you represent? Kids, this is basic math. We can do this. You represent one character out of 10. Okay? One.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's 20, you represent 2. Okay? Call it 3, maybe. That's pushing it. You say out of 20 characters, 3. Okay? That's what accurate representation of that particular community would be in gaming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not what they want. They don't want that. They want 8 characters out of 10, 9 characters out of 10. They want to eliminate the last white character and won't be happy until that happens. Okay? That's what they want. And they don't want to say that. Maybe some of them even do say that. But that's what they want. And that's not minority representation. That is blackwashing everything. Okay? That's just as racist as whitewashing. That's just as racist as eliminating all people of color from video games.
Yeah.
Which literally no one wants that. I don't know anyone that wants that. That's reasonable. Like, of course, people of color shouldn't be eliminated entirely from video games. That's ridiculous. I don't want that. I don't think you want that.
Well,
so
there's a reason I'm wearing a shirt that says "Be awake, not woke."
But if you get that absolutely accurate representation of 1 to 2 characters, maybe 3 out of 20 being black, for instance, in your games, that's fair compared to the real life population.
Mm-hmm.
So again, they want overrepresentation. That's what they want. They won't settle for anything less. So anyway, going back to the point, they want also virtue signal points for all of this. Also, they want to pretend that this overrepresentation is also a virtue because it's some sort of, I don't know, repayment for sins that they didn't even commit. Right? They want to make things better. And they think that overrepresenting these groups is the way to do that. And inviting them in and saying, hey, what race do you want the character to be? Of course that person's going to say my own race. Of course they'll say that. Because they're obsessed with that. That's why they're employed for the companies and organizations they're employed with. Because they're obsessed with their race and making everything look like their race. But I'm pretty sure that's what we call racism.
Yeah.
You know? So hire a bunch of racists to end racism. I mean, who would have thought that was going to be the solution? Apparently they do. That's
like putting out a fire by pouring gasoline on it.
No, yeah, I mean, it really is. All it does is make everything worse. And being unreasonable about everything and thinking that you're more important than you really are is where they're all at with this whole thing. Everybody at Xbox thinks they're more important than they really are. They think they're going to end racism by making every character in a game black. They think that's really going to happen.
Let's take a moment to cast our minds back to 2013. I believe April, if I'm not mistaken. A device was introduced for the first time preaching about TV. Oh, and it can once in a while play a game if you check in every 24 hours.
Yeah.
The device was called Xbox One.
Yeah.
Xbox and Microsoft had to do a complete 180 because they knew the PS4 was going to whoop their ass, right?
Yes, they were aware. They were aware.
Yeah, so they had to do a 180 so they could actually sell consoles. Now, here in 2024, 11 years later, we're back to another situation with Xbox that could irreparably damage the Xbox brand, maybe forever at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, as I said about with recently MLB The Show with the female business in it,
Mm-hmm.
I say about Xbox here, this is the day that Xbox dies or starts its slow death. Go woke, go broke. But
Yeah,
with that
well,
in mind, let's get back to this here. By the way, one more thing I do want to mention about minorities that you were talking about before we get to this.
mm-hmm.
What's the biggest minority in the world?
Oh, you mean the closest minority to a majority?
No,
Or
I mean
what do you mean?
the biggest minority, the fewest amount of people, the most underrepresented, the most erased people.
Well, I
Do
could
you
think of
want
a few
me?
groups, but if you're going to say whites, that would be an interesting statement.
No,
So what were you going to say?
gingers.
Oh, gingers. Okay, well, that's not a race. That is a that's a genetic.
But it's a minority because they're rare enough as it is, correct?
Sure. Yeah.
And also they get erased from Hollywood like they are the worst plague on humanity, correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, Hollywood. Well,
So
here's the thing though about gingers. Like gingers are all white people, right? I mean, for the most part,
correct.
99% are white people.
But last I checked, I wasn't a ginger. You're not a ginger, correct?
No, we're not.
And neither is this fine gentleman.
No, I don't think he is.
But think about this. Recent characters that were gingers that got erased in Hollywood. The Little Mermaid.
Mm.
Correct?
Well, yeah, she's red haired, sure.
Yeah, ginger. And many, many others. So I will leave you with this before we get back to Xbox here. In 2024, Donald Trump and MAGA are trying to make America great again, correct?
Sure.
And we will. But until then, I say, MAGA, let's make America ginger again.
Well,
and I will leave that at that.
The core basis of a great America is an America where the identity of the Americans is irrelevant, because the ethos and the ethic of them is what prevails. Okay, so long as we agree that America is an idea more than an identity, which they, I think, agree with, then focusing on the ideals of that prospective country we'd all love to live in would be the key here, not the racial identity of those people that happen to live there. But that's what they all focus on. They're only focused on racial identity and gender identity. That's all they care about.
And what I personally mean about making America ginger again, as in, let's stop erasing gingers from history and society, okay? Because they're ginger. Let's stop that.
No, I mean, optimally, the reason that you would want diversity in the first place in characters and in games and in movies and in television and any other kind of media is because they would offer a different perspective. Yeah. That is the theory. But
it's not really a theory, it's a fact. But
if they don't offer a different perspective, they should at least offer some sort of difference. The problem is that they're trying to make all of the characters exactly the same, all of the characters extremely abnormal, essentially. And what I mean by abnormal is as fractional and as out there as possible. And they're attempting to normalize something they know isn't normal. Okay? That's what they really mean by normalization, which they desperately seek normalization.
And that's why all storytelling right now in modern society is, well, terrible and boring as hell.
But if you're going to act out and be outlandish and be deliberately destructive socially and seek to break down institutions and barriers and every other thing, how can you then sit there and say you're trying to normalize that? That'll never be normal. Like, by its own definition, that'll never be normal.
Yeah.
Because if that were ever normal, then you'd never have any standard whatsoever. Like, if that's normal, if you normalize that, then you might as well normalize white supremacy, literally. Like, you might as well just say everything is normal. Whatever you want to be is normal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that defeats the whole definition of the word. Normal is what functions in society. Whatever functions is what's normal. Okay? That's the standard. And if you're up there trying to be something or do something that doesn't help function society, then you're not being normal. Like, you're going against what's normal on purpose, which sometimes is fine. It depends on what the situation is.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't sit there and say, oh, well, let's normalize radicalism. We can't normalize radicalism. Those two words don't make sense together. But that's what they keep trying to do in gaming. Let's make our character radically different, radically unusual, radically out there, just so strange and unusual that you would never relate to the character. Even if you found things in common with it, you'd still never relate because you're not nearly enough. You're not close enough.
Yeah.
And then we're going to sit there and say that's normal. Like, so make everybody in the audience feel like they're weird. That's their goal. And then also, while they're also doing that, they also want to make everyone who happens to be white feel bad about themselves. But that's fine for some reason.
Yeah, but
I don't know why they think that's fine.
With all that in mind, back to the death of Xbox here.
Yeah. I'm just delving into the logic of it, which is not logic, but it's just emotion.
Speaking of clown world and illogical, a management level employee at Microsoft's Xbox marketing team is facing worldwide criticism after defending the alleged plight of minorities in the gaming industry. Xbox Global Product Marketing Manager Kelly Lombardi. Oh, good. Oh, Lombardi. That's degrading the name of Lombardi, that's for sure. Because I know of a great Lombardi in history, Vince Lombardi.
Yeah.
Packers head coach, and the trophy that they win for winning the Super Bowl is the Vince Lombardi trophy. Get a seal here and a seal here and run this play through the alley. And also another great quote from the legendary Packers coach, Vince Lombardi. If you're not first, you're last.
Yes, and let's not pretend that we know there's any relation between these two, though.
Because
I doubt there is.
I hope not. But Kelly Lombardi joined a growing list of video game industry employees who have seemingly taken issue with fans rejecting diversity, culture, and gaming. That's not what we're rejecting. But I digress here.
Well, they're not even really promoting diversity in gaming. They're promoting blackwashing.
Yeah, those
are two different things.
They are promoting excluding people because of how fair their skin is. Well, like us.
No, yeah, if they could have it their way, there wouldn't be any white characters in the game, and every white character there would be bad.
Yeah, but Lombardi, who has appeared in Xbox company posts since at least 2022, made strange comments in a recent X posting, singling out white male video game players, that'd be us, essentially, and also anyone that looks like us. Raise your hand if you're not a white man and you buy video games, Lombardi, who appears to be white herself, said.
Yeah.
And then she wound up deleting that and changing it to, actually, this was the last part of it, actually. No hate to white dudes. It's just another day in the gaming industry that minorities have to fight to prove they exist. She added, you don't have to prove that you exist because everybody exists. As in,
I'm
all
sorry,
lives matter.
I don't remember not having characters of color in video games. I don't remember this. What moment was this that happened? Because I mean, I could give examples from 20 years ago where there were characters of color in video games.
I can also give you examples throughout history where a main character in a game was female. Does Miss Pac-Man read ring a bell to anybody.
I mean, here's the thing. If we don't ever want to see minority characters in video games, boy, I guess that NFL game shouldn't be popular then.
Yeah.
I guess the NBA games should really be not popular.
But
They are.
Yeah. Color doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, sports is an example. Even if we take sports out of it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take sports out of it. Let's go back to the original Gears of War, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Multi-racial team of characters.
Yeah, we had Coltrane there.
And all of us, including myself, say that the first at least 3 games of that series are marvelous.
Absolutely.
Marvelous. Some of the best games ever made.
Yeah.
Despite and including, diverse characters. So
Absolutely.
What the fuck are they talking about? Oh, they have to fight to be represented in games. No, what you're fighting to be is overrepresented, which you're not currently, or at least you're trying to be. You're working on it really hard.
Yeah.
But what you're fighting for is overrepresentation. You've been represented for decades in games.
Absolutely.
No one's excluded you. No one tried to exclude you. If you felt excluded, it's probably because you excluded yourself.
Yeah.
Or you didn't relate to the character, which is fine. We don't have to relate to every single character that happens to be of our same race. We get that. That's fine. But they're there. If you want them, they're there. Go relate to them if you really want to relate to every character that happens to be your race. They're all there.
Mm-hmm.
No one's been depriving the gaming industry of colored characters. I don't know where they get that shit.
But
it kind of reminds me of these female actresses in these Hollywood movies that think they're the first female to ever do anything in a film.
But with that in mind, an hour later, she posted a correction saying her previous post lacked proper context. I deleted my last tweet because it was poorly worded, lacked context, and didn't accurately reflect how I feel. Lombardi started before adding a generic statement in favor of diversity. And here it is. The gaming industry is incredibly diverse, and the more voices we have creating, watching, and playing games, the better. There's room for everyone.
And nobody except her said there wasn't.
And we know Veridark. Right, bro?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Dude, nobody except those people said that there wasn't room for people of every color and every ideology. Of course there is. No one's trying to exclude certain people except them.
I don't know why I wasn't following Vera. But with that in mind, which I'm now following her over there now, but if, and this is what Vera says, if Kelly Lombardi, a global game manager at Xbox, had simply said there's room for everyone in gaming industry, I would be 100% supportive of that statement. Most would be, but she only said that after
getting ratioed.
well, yeah, that and denigrating white men and pushing a victimhood mentality. How pathetic. Vera's absolutely right. If she had just said this initially, there'd be no problem. Everyone would have liked it. Everyone would have agreed, right?
Yeah, for actual inclusivity, we're all in favor of actual inclusivity.
Exactly. But she didn't do this at first. She did the other thing, then this, which is why she got ratioed with this, too, at that point. Vera's absolutely dark. This caught the eye of ex-owner Elon Musk, whom we're quite familiar with, who has not been shy about coming to defense of gamers in 2024, or pretty much anybody like Gina Carano with Disney.
Yeah, it's more than just gamers. Yes. He's tweeted about a lot of things.
Elon gets around a lot.
Yeah, he covers a lot of things.
And I respect him. It should not be acceptable for any company in the gaming industry to be racist and sexist against white guys, Musk said the following day. He's right. As mentioned, Musk has joined the growing voices of gamers who are rejecting diversity, equity, and inclusion narratives being force-fed through video games. So we have the richest African American with us too, bro.
Yeah, no, that's always funny when somebody mentions that. But yeah, sure.
Well, he was born in Africa. He's
No,
an
I know.
American.
I know.
What else would he be?
But that isn't what's
Right?
implied when you say that, though.
I know that, but it's true. But I don't know. He was born in Africa, and he's an American, and he's the richest one.
Here's the thing. That's not news to anyone, and we
Yeah.
already know those battle lines are all drawn already.
But the reason I'm bringing this up is because we had to cover all of the other stuff with Xbox at this point.
Yeah, and the point I would make though is that what needs to stop is the disingenuousness. Okay, people who have a cursory, recent, politically activist point of view about gaming are almost 100% wrong 100% of the time. They very rarely get anything right. They don't seem to understand that characters of color have been popular in games almost since games were invented. And I don't just mean, weird colors like green and blue and, colors that humans really aren't. I'm talking about people of diverse ethnicities, people of Middle Eastern descent. I mean, go back to the first Assassin's Creed. What do you think Altair is? Altair is Islamic. Altair is a Middle Eastern man. The fact that everyone's, he looks white. It's like, yeah, so do Middle Eastern men often. But that is a diverse character. And everyone loved that character. I mean, for the most part.
No one gave a shit what he was.
Everyone was like, yay, Altair. We love you. Yay, great character. Awesome. Then they went to Ezio. Ezio is an Italian. Okay, getting closer to what you might call white. But still, Italians would be interested to hear that you think that they're just part of the white community and that they've never been discriminated against. Oh, really? Then
in 3, they went half white, half Native American with Connor.
The point I'm trying to make here is that they have a moving definition of what diverse means. Okay? They have a really willy-nilly definition of diverse.
Yeah.
It's really actually a peculiar definition of diverse. All they really mean is dark skin. That's all they really mean.
In other words, not white.
But even then, they're not right either on that either. Those characters haven't been excluded at any point either. So again, there's never been meaningful exclusion. So I don't, and if they're talking about games that are period pieces in history, like World War I, for instance, there wasn't a large majority of black people on the battlefield of World War I. I'm sorry. It hurts your feelings, but it's true.
Yeah.
Get over it. It's a period piece. Period pieces, if you're going for accuracy, have to be that way. And you can't come along and say, hey, I think we should have more blacks involved in this battle. It's like, well, there wasn't. There wasn't. So cry me a river. They're not there because they shouldn't be, because it's supposed to be accurate. Those are the most infuriating examples. But on the other end of things, in new games, new IPs, I mean, what game that was celebrated where you don't find that? I mean, there's games all over the map in gaming going back 20, 30 years, maybe even 40 years at this point, that have had diverse characters and characters of color. I don't know what their point is. The characters have to struggle to be seen. People of color have to struggle to be seen in gaming. Well, first of all, you're a minority, so deal with that. I mean, if you don't want to be a minority, then I guess you have to make more of you. I mean, if you want to stop being a minority, you have to make more of yourselves. But if you
get started fucking people.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you don't want to be a minority anymore, that's your problem. Like, it's up to you to fix that. But at the same time, if you don't want to be minority represented and want to be overrepresented, I don't see how that's just. I don't see where that's how do you call that fair? Oh, well, let's overrepresent them. What, as an apology or something? Doesn't that sound vain? It is vain. So anyway, they've never been excluded. They've always been included. We've celebrated those characters. We're going to continue to celebrate those characters when they're written well and when they're done well and the games are made well. That's all we've ever wanted. That's all we still want. Games to have good characters, good writing, good gameplay, enjoyable, fun. Maybe even we can relate to them occasionally. And that doesn't include them being of the same race as us. I mean, come on, man. That's dumb. Everyone knows that's low IQ shit.
Yeah.
But yet they keep on doing it. They keep on insinuating a bunch of shit that they themselves know they are the one that believes, but they keep projecting it on everybody else.
Yeah.
We are not trying to exclude anyone based on any race, gender, or anything. And that if the female one really pisses me off because it's even more true about females. Females have never been excluded and never been mistreated in games. Some of the most beloved characters of gaming history have been females. I don't even know what their point is about that. They have no point to make about that. Unless they want deliberately ugly females to be celebrated. I don't know what to tell them. Maybe that'll happen if the writing's good. I don't know.
But speaking of ugly affairs and just ugly affairs, Disney and their board of directors recently went through the voting and things on Wednesday with Nelson Peltz, right, bro?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And after all the dust settled, the board is still intact. Bob Iger's friends are still there, and the stock immediately dropped like a fucking rock.
Yeah, no, because the stockholders are seeing that Disney doesn't learn from their mistakes. They're just continuing to make them.
In other words, the status quo was preserved at Disney, and everyone's bailing.
Yeah, well, they know that what's been happening has been failure, and if they're going to continue to do it, it's continued failure. And believe me, if there's one thing
exactly what's going to happen.
If there's one thing the stock investors run screaming from, it's deliberate failure.
Yeah, which is exactly what we've gotten since they bought Star Wars.
Yeah, since at least
then it was just downhill from there, right into the sewers, which is just above us here in the underground. So, fortunately, they haven't gotten down to us yet.
But the point being is that Disney will take as much pain as the earth and all the life on it can give them, and they will not change. They will not change until they are bought out by another company. They will not change until their organization is picked clean and there is nothing but dry bones laying in the desert. That is all that will be when this is all said and done, and it will be all their fault. There will no one else to blame but themselves. Everyone will know it, and no one will feel sorry. That is what will happen to Disney. But I would expect them to start selling assets of the company real soon.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that like a few years ago before any of this was rearing its ugly head for Disney.
Sure, it's been very aware that Disney has been forming an evil alliance for quite a while.
Yeah. But we were bringing up them having to sell off Star Wars for dirt cheap compared to how much they paid for it from George.
You know what I find funny? I find funny the theory that George Lucas is going to come along and buy Disney outright. I think that'd be hilarious.
I don't know how I feel about that with his statement
he's really kind of sided with them, so it wouldn't help much, but it's still
But I have a conspiracy theory here. What if that was somebody from his camp saying that and not him?
Yeah, I don't know. In every other thing I've seen him talk, he tends to focus more on broader terms. He doesn't really get like that. I mean, I know he's not disagreeable to that ideology. He is more on that side, but he doesn't push those types of things in his media. When he writes a story, he tries to make it in broader terms. He likes to make like sweeping grand narratives. He doesn't focus in on shallow surface shit like all these other writers do. Like what I'm saying is that he writes deeper stories than they do.
Yeah,
so I know that his abilities, and especially his special effects abilities are second to none almost.
There always has been a question to a limited degree about George's writing. Look no further than
I mean, the writing is some people criticize especially the script writing. He's not that great of a script writer.
Yeah, look no further than Harrison Ford, who famously said, "You can write this shit, but you can't say it."
yeah, it was funny.
Try to move your mouth while you're typing. But with all that in mind,
George is excellent with plot points and themes.
Yes.
Script writing, no.
Yeah,
but he's also excellent with special effects.
indeed. But while special effects does not save lives, and before we get to whatever topic you ask, because I got through all of mine, you know what else? You know what saves lives, Nord?
What is that?
This.
Well, I can agree partially. It definitely improves lives.
Yeah, but with that in mind, you said before we went live that you had something that you wanted to bring up, right?
Well, the only thing that I had garnered to mention was the White House thing with Easter, but you already mentioned it. So I mean, it was just par for the course. I mean, there ain't no surprises. There's no surprises left for the Biden White House to give us. We already know who they are. We know what they believe in. We know how they don't operate the country correctly and all that other stuff. That's we've hammered that point more than just about any other point, and everyone knows who watches our streams how we feel about all that. So
Yeah.
you've already illustrated to everybody, told them what all happened, so they know. And I would just say that the hits always come. They're going to keep on coming. It's just the way life is in this country at this point. But
this is where the guys at Friday Night Tights would play a clip of "Do Not Come" from
Kamala, yes,
yeah, from Harris. But
yeah, no, they do one better. They play the "Do Not Come" from Kamala, and then they go right to Trump saying, "I'm going to come."
Yeah,
that's the perfect pairing. That's like wine and cheese, man. You got to have them together.
Well, Trump, if you see this, which I doubt, you can come to Glendale anytime you want.
No, I mean, really, that was one of the most brilliant political clip edits I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
I even used it partially myself, but the combo is just like chef kiss, beautiful. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. But with that in mind, what are you going to be up to after this?
Relaxing. I'm probably going to get online. I've been playing some new games, looking around to see what they got.
Yeah, I picked up a couple for the PS5.
Yeah.
Let me grab those quickly. Just one sec here.
But other than that, obviously I didn't mention it yet, but the NBA Finals are in town here. You already mentioned off stream about it, and I'd mentioned it too, and you asked me how it was going, and I'm like, well, it's chaos, but
yeah. So the couple games that I got over the course of the past couple days, they came. First and foremost, do you remember what I bought you for Christmas?
Yeah, you got me a copy of Assassin's Creed
Mirage for the Xbox Series X. Well, I got. Let me go full screen here for this, if I can. Here we go. Copy of the deluxe edition for the PS5.
Yep.
And also, this came earlier today, but it was the gold edition.
Mm-hmm.
Greedfall.
Yep, good old Greedfall.
Also for the PS5. So expect me to play some of those at some point soon. Hopefully on Drew Dot Games.
Yeah, for like I said in my review, bro, for what it's worth, the gameplay on Mirage is wonderful.
Yeah.
And so is the depth of like the way they laid out Baghdad, and the depth of the actual environment is beautiful. It's a wonderfully it's beautiful. It's truly breathtaking.
I'm just looking at the rating and the stuff in it. We got intense violence, blood and gore, strong language, and drug reference in Assassin's Creed Mirage. In Greedfall, we got blood, language, partial nudity, suggestive themes, and violence.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but as you also heard me talk about it, I didn't mind the storyline until sort of near the end, and then I was like, oh no, they went completely wrong at the end on that one.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I didn't like how that one ended.
And if I play to the end or not, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. definitely worth a play, especially if you like Assassin's Creed. It is pretty much like the old days. It's real close.
Yeah,
And
I know. And
I would say it takes what was right about Assassin's Creed, the original, and it kind of accentuates that even further.
yeah,
But then again, the storyline of Assassin's Creed 1 was way better than this in the end.
and the reason I got it because I wanted to know why you're so high on it.
Well, I mean, again, it's the visuals, it's the environment, it's the immersion of yourself into a historical storyline. And you know what I also like about it? That I
Yeah.
also mentioned when we reviewed it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have anything to do with Miles, uh, Desmond Miles.
Yeah.
They took out that Abstergo stuff completely. I mean, for the most part.
But I do have one quick announcement for the Drew Dat Game Awards at the end of the year. There's a new category that's going to be in it. It's called Left Behind But Not Forgotten. And that is strictly for games that came out the previous year that we couldn't get to until the following year.
Mm-hmm.
Or later. So, for example, currently nominated for the Left Behind and Not Forgotten Award is Assassin's Creed Mirage, and now Super Mario RPG for that category. So we got 2 nominees for that already, and it's only April.
Yep.
So with that in mind, do you got anything else?
Nope. I pretty much don't.
Yep, I do not either.
Other than wanting to mention the NBA Finals in town. Other than that,
let's just look at the chat here. We don't see anybody here, so let's let.
Why did I say NBA? I meant NCAA. Sorry.
Do you know where you are?
No. It's just look. Me and you, neither one of us are big fans, so it's really hard for me to mentally delineate between.
Yeah, I don't care about basketball, but I do care about baseball here, as you can see behind me.
Yeah.
And on my head.
Which has started up again. Yay.
Yeah, and the Cubs are doing well, as I see. But as it is, so is our home team, the nationally champion Arizona Diamondbacks. So there's that too.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. They went from really bad to not bad at all.
Yeah, and from what game I saw, the Cubs are playing like possible contenders for the NFC pennant.
You mean NL?
National League pennant, whatever.
Yeah, not NFC. That's football. Yeah. Well, that's what I did with the NBA thing.
So with that in mind, I'm going to see about showing Mom the Lord of the Rings trilogy because she's never seen that. Have you?
The Lord of the Rings trilogy? Of course, yes.
Yeah. Mom hasn't. And we were watching side-scrollers, and Stuttering Craig has never seen it either.
Oh, yeah. You know, it'd be really cool, too, because I'm sure she'll be able to read between the lines on a lot of that stuff, too.
Yeah. So right after I get done with this, instead of playing a game, I'm going to go watch some Lord of the Rings with Mom out in the living room.
Yeah.
Until then, thank you to the 2 people watching us currently. We appreciate you greatly, and not sure what's going on with your logo now. But yeah, because you're a gray nipple now.
Okay, well, it must have cut momentarily, but I think I'm back, right?
Well, I can still hear you, but
okay.
Your logo is irrelevant because we're shutting down anyway. But speaking of shutting down, we can roll on out of here and play a few things on our way out. So thank you guys for checking us out. Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel where we will do more of our gaming discussions here, as well as everything else on Breaking Rocks. Drew Dat Games over on YouTube and Rumble, as well as this channel existing on Rumble too. But Drew Dat Games, you'll find my PlayStation 5 live streams from back there over on Drew Dat Games. And my streams coming over of Xbox stuff that I'm going to try to get through my backlog and then tell Xbox once I'm done with my backlog that they can go fuck themselves. At this point, considering they don't want me on the platform. Or you, huh, bro?
Yeah, definitely not me.
So you'll be finding me on PlayStation and Nintendo at some point in the future. Until then, we roll on out of here with Caddy. We'll see you again in Clown World, hopefully next weekend, but we'll see what's going on. No promises. And remember, thick thighs save lives, but large breasts, well, I don't know what to say about those, do you?
Yeah, we'll just say that and leave it at that.
Yeah. Let's roll on out of here, Caddy.
Good job. Now he's gonna roll him down the hill. Caddy, you animal. Now what?
World is full of clowns.